All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever noticed how some words in a relationship just land differently? They seem to carry this secret weight. How a really simple question can suddenly change the entire mood of a room? Well, that's exactly what we're exploring today. The fascinating, hidden language of love. It's a great question to ask yourself, isn't it? Because let's be honest, in our closest relationships, what we say is often just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, there's this whole other world of subtext, of meaning and intention, and that is incredibly powerful. And that's really the core idea here. It's a language we all speak, but we don't always stop to think about what it all means. Understanding this language is absolutely key to navigating our connections with others. So, let's get into it. We're going to start with what might be the most universally recognized and maybe feared phrase in this entire secret dictionary. It's just four simple words that can literally stop you in your tracks. Ah, yes, these four little words. On their own, they're completely harmless. You might ask a friend this before catching up, no big deal. But when you hear it from a partner, the entire context just shifts completely, doesn't it? And here we can see that shift in action. On the surface, it's just a request to chat. Simple. But the hidden meaning, the one we all instinctively get, is a signal. It's like the opening bell for a serious and, let's face it, probably difficult conversation. And because this pattern is so well known, just hearing it can instantly make your heart beat a little faster. It triggers that stress or anxiety because you know it's not about what's for dinner. It's a perfect example of how language sets the stage before the real talk even begins. Okay, so the stage is set for that big talk. But what about the phrases you might hear during the conversation? Let's decode some of the most common and heaviest ones. Here's another classic. This question sounds so open-ended, almost philosophical, right? But let's be real. It is almost never just a casual, curious thought about the future. It has a very, very specific job to do. You see, this question isn't really a question. It's a push for clarity. It's a way of saying, I need a decision about our future and your level of commitment now. It's an action phrase totally disguised as a simple inquiry. And, it's not just what we say, but how we say it. Your tone, your delivery, it changes everything. Take the phrase, you know what I mean? If you say it like a statement, with your voice going down at the end, it can sound accusatory, like you're blaming the other person for not getting it. But if you ask it as a genuine question, with your voice going up, it becomes a bridge. It's a search for connection, a way to make sure you're both on the same page. All right, this next distinction is absolutely critical. Seriously, it's a point of language that can genuinely prevent a lot of misunderstanding, and maybe even some heartbreak. It's all about how we use the word love. The difference here is subtle, but it is so powerful. I love you is this wonderful, broad feeling of affection. You love your family, you love your friends, you love your dog. But when you add that one little word, saying I'm in love with you, that changes everything. It signifies a very specific, deep, romantic feeling that's reserved just for a partner. But hey, relationship language isn't all serious talks and high-stakes declarations. So let's shift gears and look at the warmer, more intimate side of things. The secret code that builds a couple's really unique bond. Exactly. In fact, some of the most important language is the shorthand, the inside jokes and the private vocabulary that creates a whole shared world just between two people. This phrase is a fantastic example. We've had our is like a fill-in-the-blank for your entire shared history. You can complete it in so many ways. We've had our laughs, points to all the good times. We've had our ups and downs, acknowledges the full journey. And we've had our issues is a really mature way of referring to the problems you've faced and gotten through together. And of course, there are pet names. From the classic honey or babe to something totally silly and unique just to you two, these names act as a secret code. They're a form of private language that constantly reinforces that special, exclusive connection a couple shares. It's your own little world. All right, let's do a quick recap of what we've gone over. We've seen how "can we talk" is really a signal for a serious conversation. We've decoded those big questions about the future as a push for clarity. We've talked about that critical difference between loving someone and being in love with them. And we've touched on that secret shared language that builds a couple's bond. So, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. In our relationships, words are rarely just words. They're signals. They are loaded with subtext, with history, with emotion. And understanding this hidden layer is the real key to building stronger, more authentic connections. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As you go about your week, just try to pay a little closer attention to the words you use and the words you hear. What is your relationship's hidden language telling you?